Hey y'all, hey. Welcome to Mission for Mental Health. I am your host, Jackie Robinson. And guess what? Today is a Sunday, y'all. I am pre recording a show. This is my first time doing this, and I'm so excited to do it because I know I can do this. So I learn something new every day, right? Can't look. You could teach this old dog some new tricks, huh? So anyway, so I wanted to continue with a part two. I have a special guest for you all today, and the reason why we're here on a Sunday is because this was the only day she was available. She is not available for Wednesday night live stream. So yeah, so we will air this Wednesday night, but we are recording this on a Sunday, so things look a little bit different because the sun is up, and usually I'm in the dark when I'm recording. But it is all good. So I am going to bring on my guest. We are going to continue part two with caring. Um, Dang, I forgot what I titled the show, y'all. Something about caring for our elderly parents. I know it's got something to do with that. I just couldn't think of the title that I titled it again. But this is going to be part two, and I may have a part three. I may have a part three next week. So let me bring on my special guest. I'm so happy to have her here. Bam. Some of y'all probably already know who she is. Miss Tread. That is my girl Tread. So when she say
Hello.
Latimo, when she call me Latimo, anybody who calls me Latimo been knowing me since a long time.
A long time.
A long time, right?
Exactly.
Well, how are you, ma'am?
I'm doing good. I'm doing
Good.
good. Better.
B. We gonna call you B today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so Miss
That's fine.
B. We gonna call you Miss B. Thank you for coming on very last minute. I do appreciate that so much.
No problem.
I chose you. I hand choose my guests for a reason, and I hand chose you because I felt that you had a lot of information that you could share and a lot of tips that people can learn from you because of your experience. You've had years and years of experience with caring for your parents and adults, right?
Mhm.
So
Yes.
I wanted to bring you on to get some nuggets out your brain. Why you laugh?
Because I may have to be part three.
You are welcome to be part three if you want to be
Oh,
part three. But I just felt that you had a lot of information to share. And so that's why I chose you. And so last Wednesday, we were talking about caring for our parents and just realizing when it was time for our parents to move in. And so I always try to put up little notes so people can just don't think I just be coming off the top of my head with everything. That I do kind of do a little research, just a little bit, just a little bit. I mean, I'm in the position too, so I care for my mom who's 85. I'm on year I think number 3, so I do have a little experience, not as much as you. Um, but the first thing in becoming a caregiver is understanding when it's an appropriate time to step in and assist your parents with their health care and well-being. When for you, when did you realize that it was time for you to step in and become a caregiver?
it was probably 2014, somewhere around there. My mother health started declining. And I was going back and forth to Michigan. I'm from Michigan. And to help my dad, because, well, it's so much. Okay. My dad lived there, my mother, and I have 3 adopted brothers. One is totally disabled, cannot do anything for himself. And 2 other ones are mental health. Okay. So we have 2 basically disabled people in the house and 2 mental health. So my mother got sick and my little brother got sick at the same time. And my dad called and said, I need you to come to Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when it all started.
Mm.
So I started going back and forth trying to help, with the kids going to school, pick up, helping cook, you name it, laundry,
Right.
whatever, because at that time I think he was only getting a little assistant from the state. So somebody might come in for 3 hours and then they were gone. So any help was better than none. So I was
Right.
just back and forth, back and forth. So that's where it got started.
So 2014 is when it got started. And you said that your mom started to get sick. And
Mm-hmm.
then, well, prior to that, your parents, angels, came in and adopted three boys.
Correct.
Came and adopted three boys. And one of the boys is completely disabled, and two of the boys had mental health. So your
Correct.
parents are truly angels for doing that, because a lot of people don't want to do that. Were they all brothers already?
Two are
Two.
brothers.
Okay. So, a lot of people don't want to do that. So they're already angels. But I'm sure mom wasn't expecting, my health is going to decline.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
you started traveling back and forth from here to Michigan.
Michigan.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, that's a
Yeah.
lot. That's
It is a lot.
expensive.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yep. Then
expensive.
it was, but when my dad called, it was just like, all I would say is, Dad, I'll be there in the morning. You would have thought they were giving out flights,
Mm,
but I wasn't gonna leave him, hanging,
right,
and I would just be on the next flight in the morning, headed there.
right.
Yeah. So
So after you realized in 2014, when did you realize that, okay, this is becoming too much? Or was it, did it ever become too much and you were just like, look, we're going to have to make some decisions? And how do you have those conversations? One thing I know about our parents, just because we wanted to move to the Black Mecca don't mean they wanted to come to the Black Mecca.
you
They
are
are
so
happy with
right.
where they are.
You are right.
They are
Oh
happy with
yeah.
where they are, with what they're familiar with. I don't know if your dad was still working at the time, but
No, he wasn't, but it was plenty of conversation. Come on, Dad. Y'all gotta move. Come on. Let's, just move to Atlanta. Just everybody. His siblings was asking everybody. And he would say, "Oh, we'll check on it." Even once or twice when he came to visit, he ended up like want to look at homes and
right.
just procrastinating pretty much. So, but it wasn't until like 16, like I said, when I started to see everything that was weighing on him, it was like I'm looking at, his health, how long can he sustain this alone? And it was just that last winter, I told my sister, I said, he's not going to be able to last the winter here alone. He
Mm,
cannot do it.
right.
And he had me start looking for houses.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, we're just going to rent something. And I found one finally. It was a whole lot of stuff in between, but I found one that was going to be
Mm-hmm.
appropriate. And we just went with it because I think at that point, he knew he couldn't keep doing it alone as much. I
Right.
mean, we had family back home that would come over, bring meals, do the same things I was doing, my mother's sister, her brother, but it was just getting to be a lot. So I think he knew then, like, yeah, we're gonna have to go.
Yeah.
So I was glad he did because, like I said, I just don't even believe he would have made it a whole winter. So
But it
thank
seems like
God.
he had a little bit of a village in Michigan helping him out.
Yeah,
But
they
everybody
were,
still
but
has their own life.
correct.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Everybody
So
still has their own lives.
yep. Went up there doing I went there doing a basically an ice storm. I got there and the ice storm was headed in. And we packed up and moved out within like I think 2 days. And it was a lot, but we did it. We did it. We got on down here.
So when you came down here, it was your mom, dad, and three brothers.
Correct.
So through this transition, it turns into you being like the primary caregiver, or do you
Um,
feel like you were the primary caregiver?
I felt like everything. I don't even know. I felt like a nurse, I don't know, a pharmacist, a housekeeper, you name it. And then I still had a full-time job,
Yeah.
10 hours, 12 hours.
So
So
how do you prepare for that? How do you what do you do mentally, physically? Like how do you prepare for that much? That's a huge responsibility. It's different when you got one parent, but you talking about you move like the whole family,
the whole
you know.
family.
So how do you mentally prepare for this? Or did you even mentally prepare for it?
I don't think I had time. I really don't think I had time to prepare. It was just like it had to be done.
Hmm.
Let's do it. And my dad asked me would I move in to help them for like 2 years.
Right.
I said, well, Dad, okay, I might can do 2 years, you know. And then he said, what about three? I said, you are pressing it.
Mm.
No, I'm gonna give you two. I'm gonna give you two. So, but it ended up being about three. But
So you had your own place. Dad had his own place with wife and the kids.
well, I at that time I had an apartment, so I left that and went and moved in with them. And like I said, it's a 24/7 operation of cooking, cleaning, bathing. My mother lost her mobility.
Yeah.
So we had to transfer her, you know, help bathe her, like I said. And what people don't really understand a lot of times when they bring a loved one home and they say, oh, we have aides to come out.
Oh yeah, talk about
Prepared
that.
to be prepared to work, okay? Because a lot of the aides only come, you may get 4 hours a day, you know, or I think a
What
lot
you
of them
mean you
are,
only get 4 hours a day? Aren't they being paid like it? Aren't you here when I want you here? Or don't work
no,
like that?
they don't work like that. It don't work like that. It's like through the state, they will govern you a certain amount of hours or whatever. And it's unless you are really bad off, and I thought we were in a really bad situation, still, you know, for the longest, we didn't have nobody for, you know, like 6 straight hours or 8 straight hours or nothing like that. So in between, you are the caregiver.
Oh wow. So I didn't
Yeah.
know that. I thought that I can get them to come when and like if I gotta work a 10-hour shift, that they can come and sit for my 10-hour shift.
Oh, no. Unless, like I said, unless maybe they go case by case and depending on your state of, you know, your health or something, maybe, you know, my father is just not getting more hours for my brother right now. Like I think he has someone to come in the morning. It may be a break in there somewhere, and then someone comes in the evening. I think this is the most coverage he's had in Georgia. Um, you know, with having someone come in. So it depends. So I'm just telling people if you end up in this situation, understand at the beginning, you may not really have a lot of help, you know, as far as from caregiving, you know, outside of your home.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how did you go to school or anything to be a nurse or
Oh, no. Oh, no. No. Mm-mm.
trial and
But
error?
pretty much I learned everything either from an aide or from when my mother was hospitalized because during that time, sometime I came home from work and I had pulled off my work clothes and put on something that was laying on the chair. And we were back out like calling EMS. Something was wrong with her. You know, one time I came home, she had a hole in her toe and she was diabetic. She didn't even know she had a hole in her toe. I was just sitting there like, I cannot believe this. Then some, you know, she was really sick a few times and she was hospitalized. So before COVID, you know, now I'm calling into my job. I'm gonna be with my mother, you know, during her hospital stay. It was never a dull moment. It's never a time where you just sat and relaxed and felt, you know, peace or calm or because whenever you stood up, you knew it was something to go do. You knew it was something. or go pick up meds from the pharmacy, just it was just always something. So
Always something.
it was a very trying time. And I must, tell your viewers that my mother, she did pass in 2020. Um and that thing still gets me to this day. But she passed, but I'm glad we had her at home, that we took care of her, because I don't think a lot of times now people are not really good caregivers anymore. It's the old way. The older people are gone, and you know how your family member is, or what they like. A lot of times they're more happy when you do it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, she passed in 2020, and you think that, after that I was like, oh, okay, let me catch my breath. I'm mourning, and my dad is still living. So now I worry about him and
Yeah.
my little brother. You know, my father still takes care of the disabled one. The two mental health ones, they have their own issues. I'm on the phone. I'm trying to connect them to people. I'm trying to help them. They don't have whole jobs sometimes. They need $10. They need $50. It's just a whole, I mean, when I tell you it's been a lot, it's been a lot.
Yeah. So, because not only did you have to learn to become a caregiver for someone with a physical illness,
Hmm.
but you had to learn to become a caregiver for two people with a mental illness. And that right there, that alone, I don't know what their diagnoses are, but if you had to go through a portion of what I was going through up in here with my daughter,
Hmm. We
girl,
Yeah, we had days, every once in a while we'll talk. We'll get on
girl,
the phone and talk a little bit. And I'm like, oh my God. I mean, I hated it, hearing you, because I had a good picture, you know. We had those days where kind of, everything kind of moved along kind of good, But then all of a sudden, you know, here go my brother. We're arguing, Um,
like
now
you
nobody want
causing
to watch.
chaos in my house, but I have people I got to care for that
Right.
don't deserve to have to live their days. Like your dad don't deserve all this noise. Your mom don't deserve all this
Right.
noise.
Oh yeah.
Like they don't
No,
deserve all this noise.
right. No, believe me, we've had all those discussions, and I don't want to work all day to come home and tell you, like, you know, you need to do the dishes. My God, do the dishes. Why is your room a mess? It's like a tornado went through the room,
Yeah.
and he can clean it up. We can have him clean it, and in 20-30 minutes, it's unbelievable how the room can look.
Yeah.
It's just, but you just do what you can. That's all I've been trying to do. Do what I can.
Yeah. So so now are you still in the home with your dad and your brother, or are you an outside caregiver?
So now my dad actually lived with his siblings, believe it or not, and his mother, because I have a grandmother that's
Oh
90,
wow, okay.
98.
Uh-huh.
And I think he's really enjoying actually being around his family, because his family, we were in the north, so they've always been in the south. So they are together, so they are like helping hands for him. So
Good.
now, no, I go get him sometime. He comes stay with me. My brothers are now like on their own. I had to release that and let them go, because I'm just turning wheels around here, and it just seems like I'm getting nowhere. And it's sad. I talk to people all the time about mental health because there's really no help. A lot of help is not there.
Not the help
It,
that you're expecting, or the
it,
help that people say, well, why don't you just do this? Or
oh
why don't
yeah,
you just do that?
or just call here, or just did you try? It's like, my God, I don't understand why there is not better facilities and things, for people with mental health. Why should it be extreme? Why should the person go hurt, harm someone, and then, they're going to take a look at them? Well, it's too late. It's too late.
Wait, yeah.
So now I sit up and I think about my brothers, and I'm like, he's from time to time somewhere getting into it with people. Okay, so what if he goes off and it's just that day, that time that he does something, crazy, and it's just been a whirlwind of things. I
I
mean,
I relate.
but what can you do?
Nothing. At a certain point, at a certain point, um, adults have to be held accountable for themselves.
Yeah,
You know, you
yeah.
can lead them, you can lead them, and you can lead them. But if they are not willing at all, and it's hard to be willing when your mind is not 100%, it's not like ours,
Correct. Yeah,
but you have to want the help too. So,
yeah.
as loved ones, as bad as we want to see them do well because we know that they can, we can't
Hmm.
do it for them, because there are
Right.
people with mental health who are doing everything they need to do to keep their mental health in check.
Hmm.
But then there's some that's just like, I'm doing me.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing wrong with me. If something wrong with you, I'm doing me. And at that point, you kind of, especially when they're adults, in order to keep yourself from losing it, you got to
Hmm.
let them go and
Oh
just
yeah.
pray that, they don't get shot, they don't end up in jail, they don't end up with a serious long criminal history and can't ever work anywhere because
Yeah.
of their behavior. At some
Yeah.
point, you hope that they wake up and say, I'm tired of coming in and out of these hospitals. Maybe somebody's right. I don't know. But yes, the mental health care system in this state is the second to the lowest on the totem pole.
It is.
Some states
Yeah.
are a little more progressive than Georgia, a lot more progressive than Georgia when it
Hmm.
comes to mental health. So we're just kind of we're out here winging it.
Oh
Unfortunately,
yeah.
we're out here winging it. That's why I do what I'm doing. So my
Yeah.
question, with all of that, and while you were going through what you were going through, what does B do for herself? How were you able to
Hmm.
hang since 2014? I think some people would have just gave up, gave up, kicked everybody out, um, threw in the towel. I mean, I don't know. Like, how do you? Because what you've done is you put your entire life on hold. You put your life on hold.
Yeah.
So, first off, how did that feel, putting your life on hold for someone else?
Oh, it's mixed emotions. One minute you feel like, what, this is my time to live. You know, now have you and your other kids, and it's just like it's too much. Like, do you really realize what you're putting on me? But then I look at my parents, and I had to tell plenty of people. I said it's hard. I said, but when you've had good parents, it makes it easier. And like one of my friends always say, if you don't put in, you don't get out. And my parents have put in a lot. I ain't perfect. I'm far from perfect, but I'm doing okay. So I'm just giving back to them the sacrifices, all the things they've done for me. I'll never pay them back, but who else is going to do it? They're my parents. So
Mhm.
you have those moments. You're selfish. You think like, why am I doing all of this? And I don't want to leave out my sister, because my sister, she lives in Alabama. But at first, she wasn't really coming. And I think one time she came to visit and she finally saw, it was like, this is a full-fledged operation around here. It
Yeah.
was like non-stop. And before she left, she said, you know what? I'm going to start coming more. And when she
Because you
started
can get
coming,
resentment towards your siblings when especially when you see everyone out living their best life,
yeah.
and
And
this
it's
is my
like,
life that I didn't sign up for.
right. And it's like, you're just doing your thing. And she started coming. And I'm gonna tell you, she worked when she came. At least it was a breather. I mean, she was
Mhm.
doing the phone call. She was doing some of the running, and I was just like, "Thank you, God." I mean, at least it's a breath. She worked from sun up to sundown when she came, and I would feel so bad when she was getting back on the road to go back home because she would be exhausted.
Mhm.
But at least she started coming. You
Yeah.
know, um, like you said, it's people out there living and going on, and some people, they act like they don't even have parents. I mean, I don't get it, but I'm like, how could you leave your parents struggling by themselves like that? I
Yeah.
couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Everybody have their reasons for doing what they want to do,
Right.
but I couldn't do it. And for first couple years, I mean, I didn't see my friends. Um, I started missing all my health appointments, my physical, my mammogram, my dental. I mean, I looked up and I said, I have not done any of that stuff. A year had went by so quick. And I said, I never miss my appointments. You get caught up, you get lost. It's easy to get caught up when you're a caregiver. Everything, you just push it aside and you just keep on going. And I had to finally sit down. I think I was just at a point of feeling like I was gonna break. And I said, Brittany, you have to live. You gotta make time for yourself. You got to do it, or you're gonna end up dead.
Yeah.
You know, because plenty of caregivers die before the person they're caring for.
Yeah.
So
They
yeah,
get
so
burned out.
yeah,
You get
and
burned out.
little by little by little, and I felt so bad when I would go see my friends. I have like the best friends. I would pack up, be all gun ho to go out, go meet up with them. We'd go to each other's homes or whatever and stay the weekend. I would just put myself down and fall asleep. That was it. That's all I was good for. And they didn't bother me. They didn't ask me a bunch of questions. They just knew. It was like, we'll see her when she get up or whatever. They tell me food ready, but it was just like, gave me a little bit more, energy just to get back up and come back home. I had a couple of days off. I had to start doing that, seeing my friends every once in a while. Listen, I got a listen, prayer, okay, crying.
Mm.
And did I say prayer and crying? Okay.
Mhm.
And then listen, I color. I have coloring books. I'll sit down with something special sometime. I I don't promote it, but okay. We became good friends. Okay, we became real good friends right here. You gotta know your limit. I ain't promoting this on your show, but I'm just telling you the truth. Okay, sometimes you
Yes.
just sit down, have a glass, and just take it easy. Close my bedroom door, turn on some soft music. I should have been working out. That's what I should have been. I'll be real thin right now. That's what I should have been doing to get the stress off. But I just start going to a store and just looking, just going to Family Dollar was like a treat just to get out the house and don't have nobody say anything to me. And then
Mhm.
I started back doing a little bit of traveling. And I just got to the point that I said, Brittany, you can't. You feel guilty when you leave, but you have to go. You cannot, because you will never leave. Because all you're gonna think about, did I put the laundry in? Did they get the meds? Did I tell my dad, someone called them, did she get, do we have the transportation set up for her next appointment? I mean, it goes on and on. So you have to find, you have to have a support system. My father's sisters, they start helping, come over and help with the disabled brother. I mean, bring food. I cannot not mention them because it took everybody. But for me, it was just so much more because I had to work and deal with
10
that
hours,
stuff.
still them 10 hours, right? 10 hours, 12 hours.
Well, it was 12. It got to 10 or 12 hours then.
Mm,
So since then I've switched jobs. So I'm like at
right.
8 hours now. So I don't even know how to act. But yeah, it's been a lot, but you have to have your friends. You have to take the time for yourself. One thing I finally started doing that I hadn't been doing in years. It's gonna sound a little bad at first, but I hadn't taken a bath in so long, right? And I'm not talking, we take showers. Everybody's busy. Everybody running the shower. You're boom, boom, boom. I'm out the door again. And finally I said, I'm gonna run me some warm water and burn my candle. And I'm just gonna sit. So now it's a part of once a week. I run a bubble bath. I had to start doing little bitty things for myself.
Yeah,
Life goes on. You
it
know,
does.
you cannot keep holding yourself hostage for all these things you cannot control. And I had to realize that I can only do what I can do.
How far in did you start realizing you were starting to feel burnout and you needed to start taking care of you? How far in from 14?
Oh, this is sounding. I hadn't thought about that. This is sad, but it probably wasn't until I'm gonna say around ooh, 19, 2019 or so, when I started like, getting out a little bit, and because it was no other time left. Once I worked and got home, it was no time. I had stopped going out about 19. Yeah, about 19. But then of course we had what? COVID
COVID.
come out.
Yeah.
So then everybody, you just slammed up back in the house anyway. So it wasn't, you know. It took a while though. Took a while, but yeah, I'm doing okay. I'm doing all right.
So I don't know if this is too personal, but I'm going to ask anyway.
Uh-huh.
How did this affect your dating life?
Basically had cut out a lot of it. I did date someone during COVID. Right after my parents got down here good, I think I was dating somebody. So that person was really understanding.
I was going to ask
And
how did they respond with
yeah,
so
they were
I
under
want people to know that this it's possible. Like the girl that was on Wednesday, she was Joyce. She was talking about hey, I just got a husband,
yeah,
and some husbands may have been like, I'm out because I didn't sign up for this.
I am gone.
But
Yeah.
just so happened hers was like, hey, I signed up for this. you know.
Yeah.
So
And that's
how does that work?
yeah, and he was very, I mean, he was understanding. He worked a lot too, but he was understanding. I have to say, he was good.
Good.
And I eventually started dating someone else, and he's been very understanding. So, I guess in there, you get those little bitty blessings for what you're trying to do. Um, but it's been pretty good. So always having a companion or a friend or somebody there to talk to. Like I say, even if you know somebody who's a caregiver, um, you know, take them a little dessert. Take them a meal if you have time. Ask them to meet you for coffee. If you have someone to stay with your loved one,
Mhm.
Just do something small because understand they are burnt out, they're tired, and they
Mhm.
probably need to be taken away from that, situation, even if it's for 30 minutes just to
Yeah.
breathe, because everybody's getting older.
Right.
And
I told her, I mentioned on Wednesday, at some point, because we're all in our 50s now,
yep,
we all are going to be faced with this decision. Like,
yep,
what are we going to do with mama? What are we going to do with daddy? You know, we
we're at
all are
that
going to be,
age. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, I didn't see it coming. I
me
didn't see it
either.
coming, but I should have seen it coming because my parents were older. But even my friends, my group that's in this age group of mine, their parents are like in their 70s,
Hmm, hmm,
70-ish. But
hmm.
you still at this time, this is the time to start having those conversations. Like, hey, if your health declines suddenly or if it declines gradually,
Hmm.
what are the plans? What are we gonna do? You know, some people may feel my wish ain't to stay with you. I don't want to be
Yeah,
around
you're
your
right.
dog,
Yeah.
your kids. I don't want that in my life in my
Hmm,
elder years. I don't want to go I don't want to go stay somewhere.
hmm.
So we got to start having those conversations before, while they're able to
Yeah.
have those conversations. Now, some people, did you
Sorry about
share with people and let them know what you were doing in or okay, because you said if you know someone who is a caregiver, come by and take them out or whatever. Do you think people are, how we are in our community? What happened in our house, stay in our house. We don't really tell nobody nothing.
that.
So were you that kind of person who was closed in, or did you not mind sharing so people did know? Hey, this is what's going on. This is why I don't hang out with y'all no more. It ain't because I don't fool with y'all. It's not because I'm bougie. It's because
Right,
I'm
right.
doing XYZ. Is don't stop because people will stop inviting you when you stop showing up.
Oh yeah, yeah. I
They'll
understand that. Let me do. But I was trying to improve my lighting. Now my glasses are. But yeah, people. Some people knew that was close. Um, and then other people didn't. Like when people found out later, they're like, "Oh my god! Like you don't even look like you going through that." I'm
mm,
like, "That's only God." I'm gonna tell you because I'm wore out. I'm wore out.
yeah.
The closer people knew, but I'm not a person like to go to work and harp on it, tell people, oh, I'm so tired, I just got the house full of people and I'm worn out. That's not me. It's just not me. Some people do share, and maybe that's how they, get through it by just letting it out whenever. But the people who were close, I think they they knew. Yeah, they knew.
Yeah.
So,
So
and
let me
like I
ask you
have,
this. Go ahead.
mhm. But
No, go
see,
ahead.
that's just like when my mother passed away. You and Phil's being at her memorial was like everything because I was like, we've been friends a long time, and to see people just show up, it was during COVID, and
Mhm.
I mean, I was so grateful that y'all came. Meant a lot to me, a whole
Mhm.
lot. I had been through a lot, but to see people just show up, because I wasn't even expecting nobody. I was just trying to get through it, just trying to hold it together. And yeah,
We
that
didn't even
meant
think
a lot.
we didn't even think they were gonna let us in because of COVID. So
Mm-hmm.
me and 6ix9ine was like, we'll just sit in the parking lot.
I just,
We'll just sit in the parking lot and wait. But yeah, so we didn't even know. I mean, and that is important. That is important. When he called me and he was like, "Hey, El Boogie, dirty red mama pass, dirty red mama pass. We got to go to the service." I was like, "Okay, cool. When is it? Okay, I'll meet you
right,
there." Yeah,
right. So
yeah.
I
So
appreciate it, but
you're supposed. Those are things that you're supposed to do. Those are the things
right,
that you're supposed to do.
right. So
Let me ask you this. Because you have the experience, what are the first steps? So let's say I'm in a position where I decided I'm going to take in my loved one. What is the first thing that I should do? What are some of the first steps if you can do it all over again, since you said, hey, this was just I didn't prepare for it. I just jumped in it. So when you have people, and what I'm hoping is people start having the discussion. So after you have the discussion and the decision is made, what are some of the things that you could recommend people do prior to moving their loved one in?
I think really doing the research of what's available to a loved one, as far as their health care and what they already have and what's available in that state to assist you. I guess researching early on will help you out, when the time comes. And then know the areas, like we were out in Ellenwood, right? Well, DeKalb and Fulton are like the bigger cities, so they have more resources than Ellenwood. You have to think about stuff like that. Um, just make sure your house, or wherever you're gonna have them at, is it set up for them? My mother had a wheelchair, you know.
Oh,
We
so
had to
you
think
had to
about
get
what.
everything, ramps and everything put in.
Well, we didn't never get a ramp because the house was where we could just, we can lift the wheelchair wheels up, and it was good. But you got to think about that. If you have a whole lot of stairs in front of your house, or slopes or whatever, it's just, you got to think about that type of stuff. Who can assist you if you are not qualified for a lot of assistance at the beginning? If you have to work, you got to think, like, do I have a cousin, or do I have a good neighbor? Um, someone from the church may come be with the person or help out, or can I order meals, or if there's not enough time to cook. I mean, it's a whole lot to think about. And I didn't really have a lot of time to think about it. My dad, he basically had the kind of like the blueprint, because he was already doing it in Michigan. But it's different from state to state, because Michigan is more advanced than Georgia. We end up finding out, like, it's so many. We call one place to check on things. Oh, that's not here. Call here. You call them. They're not the right people. Everyone's gonna call you back. No one calls you back. I mean, it's just very frustrating. So, write down questions. All the questions. You just may be sitting up watching TV, have a scratch pad, write down questions, and you just keep it. You never know when you're gonna need that answer, but you can have something that when you get on the phone and start researching or calling people, you can have, like, you have to think about, if your parent or loved one needs, like my mother, we had started using diapers because she lost her mobility, so she wouldn't mess up the bed. So you got to think about all the things you may need, and you're never going to think of everything. But being prepared is the most. But the most, I think, is just finding out what they have, their insurance, and what's allowed with
Mhm.
that, and the where you're going to keep them at. You know, do you have an apartment or a home, or the list goes on and on. But
Mhm.
just being prepared, trying your best.
Did power of attorney help for you, or did you have to get it because you had your dad, so maybe
My
you wasn't
dad
worried
had
about
it.
it? Your dad had power of attorney. Was it
Mhm.
helpful to have that?
Um, yeah, 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 yeah. That was helpful. Uh
Mm,
huh. Yeah.
got it.
So it all worked out.
Is
With
there
that,
any services that you found that were more helpful than others? For example, you said that you had a nurse come in 4 hours a day. Was that through Medicaid, or is that something that you all had to pay out of pocket?
that
Was
was
there any
through.
resources that were more helpful than not?
That was all through like the Medicaid.
Okay.
We didn't do. We didn't do anything really out of pocket. Um, that's where your family comes in, um, and help. I mean, that's why, I was there. My sister came, my aunt came. Um, having extra hands, that's what keeps you from going in your pocket. And it can be pretty expensive to have people come into the house.
Mhm.
So yeah, like I said, start having discussions. Because I really didn't know what my mother had. I didn't. She was
Yeah.
in Michigan. I
Yeah.
mean, they were in Michigan living their life. So, but I tell you, but from state to state, it is different. So you may want to check your state you're living in.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you, girl. Let's see. We at 9:54. Did I say 9:54? It
Yes,
is
you
not.
did.
It is not 9:54. Usually I do this 8 o'clock on Wednesdays. So
Right.
I'm used to the it is not 9:54. Look,
You
and I
said
don't have
nine.
my glasses on. It
Oh
is
my God. Yeah.
5 5:54. 5:54. So I think that I really believe that you gave a lot of information, a lot of insight on what it's like to be a caregiver, not just to adults, but also to your brothers with mental health, your brother that is disabled. Man, girl, I mean, you're an angel too. I said your parents were angels for taking on them kids, but you're an angel because, baby, how. I don't know how you did that. How do you feel now? How do you feel today?
I feel pretty good. Um, they still call me. There's always some issue. One will probably call me before the night is over. Um, I think I'm in a pretty good place, but there's always that worry. There's always a worry that's there, and I guess you'll have that worry as long as you're here, probably, to be honest. Because running the streets, for someone in the streets, I tell my brother all the time, it's just trouble in the streets. The people in the street don't know you like I know you. Um, you gotta be careful about the people you associate with, hang around.
Yeah,
Is but I cannot hold on to you. I can't. One thing I always tell the one, I said, I can't want more for you than you want for yourself.
absolutely. So you set up boundaries. Those are boundaries.
Yeah. And so, I send a cash app here and there, and I finally said that's cut off. Um, I mean, they're my brothers.
Yeah,
You had a moment where you say you ain't never gonna do nothing no more. And then next week, I need $20. I trying to get my ID. I'm like, you try to get ID, I know 100 times now.
right.
It's a lie in there
Ooh,
somewhere. I
wow.
didn't heard it all.
Mhm.
So, but I really have now. I do let go, and I'm just my prayer is whatever happens, dear Lord, let me be able to handle it.
Yeah,
That's my prayer. Let me just be able to handle it and go on, because I'm not gonna kill myself in the process of worrying myself to death, because I about did that one. I'm
right,
over it.
right, right.
Yeah.
Because at some point they have to live their own life. Do you have any closing remarks?
Um. Oh boy, that's a hard one. Well, it's not hard.
It's not hard.
It's not hard. Just be understanding of caregivers. Just be very understanding. And whether it's your family member you can help out with, do it. You know, whether it's for the person for the person they're caring for, or for the person that's taking care of them. Try to be an extra hand.
Hmm.
That helps anyway. Anybody. And then you still got to maintain yourself. You got to help yourself. You got to have that moment for yourself. Carve out that time. Like I say, I color a little bit, and I call it communion. We gonna keep it clean here. I say I have communion every once in a while.
Hmm.
Um, but you have to know your boundaries when it comes to, if you're gonna have wine. I ain't saying have wine every day,
You have
but
wine every day.
we
They
off
say it's
work
good for
and
you. They say a glass of red wine is good for the heart.
yeah, it sure is.
What they
And
say?
so just take care of yourself and understand we have one life. That's all
Hmm.
we have. And growing up, you will always hear stress will kill you faster than anything, and it will.
It
It
will.
will. It will take you
It
down
will.
fast, and
It will.
you got to maintain yourself.
It will. I always tell people, you're no good for somebody with an empty cup. So you got to make sure that you fill your cup, because if you don't fill your cup, or just like how they do on the airplane, everybody knows the story about the airplane and the flight attendant. What does the flight attendant tell you? When the
Mhm.
mask drops, you put yours on
On
first,
first.
and then you put on somebody else's, even though we probably trying to put it on our kids before we put it on us. But I'm just saying, the
Yeah,
rule
that's true.
is you got to
That's
put it
very
on
true.
yourself first before you can put it on anybody else. So that's basically what it is in a nutshell. You have to take care of yourself. So if you don't, you won't be in a position to take care of anyone else. So
And
I truly agree with that.
one thing I don't like to hear people say is like, "Oh, but you're being selfish." Sometimes you got to be selfish.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to be selfish for your own sanity.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm just grateful for everybody who have helped with my family. I'm very grateful. I'll always be grateful, for any little thing that they have done. I'm very grateful, and I try my best to do something for someone else, you know, help
God got a
somebody
big
else
plan for
sometimes.
you. God got something real big for you. You
I
don't know
hope
what it
so.
is yet. I don't know what it is, and you don't know what it is. But God has something planned for people who go so much out of their way to care for others. That's what I would say about me. I said God must have something really big planned for me, because I really didn't expect all this. This was just not what I. This was not what I had planned. This was not on my list.
It ain't always what we have planned.
It
Lattimore.
definitely
It ain't always what we have planned.
right. This was not my plan. So, I said, oh, God must have something real big and special. So, I mean, I'm just blessed and thankful that I'm in a position to do. Thank God
Mhm.
I'm in a position to do. So everybody can't do,
Yeah.
even if they want to.
Yeah.
Everybody can't do it. So, but I appreciate you so much. Hold on, you done
You're
froze up for
touching
a hot second. Let's see. Hold on, let me
you
see to
are
get you
touching
clear
people's
again.
lives.
Hold on, Tread. Are you back?
I see you.
Okay, I can see you
Oh,
too. You were
yeah, I
just
think I'm
frozen. You were frozen in time and blurry. There you go. You coming in.
okay. No, but I was gonna say to you, keep doing what you're doing. I mean, people need to hear the truth. I mean, some folks wanna, hide and, run off when something happens to them and their family. And I mean, especially this mental health thing is so big. And for you to come out and tell your story, I mean, wow. I was so shocked when you told me. I was just like, Lord, but you are going to help so many people just by sharing your story because it's real. It's real out here. This is what happens when there's not enough assistance for people with mental health,
Yeah.
you know. Um, and you coming on here, people sharing their stories. I listen when you have people on, and I'm nodding my head while they're talking. I'm just like, yep, yep, been through that one. Yep.
Yeah.
It's like I'm not alone.
Yeah.
I'm not alone because sometimes we feel like we're the only ones going through a
Yeah.
struggle, and we are not alone. There's
No.
plenty of people out here.
Oh, you know what I say? Healing is in the conversations.
Hmm.
This is
Yep.
why I started this. I started this. I created this platform to give people a voice, so people feel like, just like you said, you're not by yourself in this situation. It's so many of us going through so many different things. So I try to make the topics different because no one is the same. But healing is in the conversations, and people learn from other people when they see, like, when people watch you, they're going to say, people who are caregivers like you to the extreme that you are, because most people only get one parent, they don't get a whole family.
You got that right.
Usually you
Woo.
just get one parent. You're like, okay, I got to take in mama. You got a crew. You got a whole crew. It's like you never left home. You got a whole family. But there are other people like you who have a whole family. And they're going to say,
Yep.
man, I so know what she's talking about. Maybe she's right. Maybe I do need to go grab me a bottle of something, run me a bubble bath, lock my door, and be
Oh yeah.
quiet for a little while. Maybe I do need it. But it is okay for me to be selfish for a little bit. It's okay,
Yeah.
because really I'm not selfish. But every now and then I need to be selfish for me in order for me to live. You know what I'm saying? So when people hear, like, it's okay, it's okay. Maybe someone will say, you know what, to keep from being burned out, it's okay.
Yeah.
You know. So I appreciate you, girl. Thank you so much for coming on and giving me your time and sharing your story. I really wasn't sure if you were gonna do it or not. I really wasn't sure because I know how private you can be. So I didn't really know if you were gonna do it. So I'm so grateful and thankful that you came on and gave me a little bit of your time. If you know anybody or if you would like to be a guest on the show, send me an email at that's not the one I want. This is the one I want right here. Boom. Send me an email. Look, the Lord's still working on me. I ain't got this
Oh
thing
yeah.
perfect just yet.
That's okay.
I don't think I ever will. I'm always just gonna be me, and it is what it is.
Yeah.
But send me an email at missionformentalhealth@gmail.com. Let me know that you want to be a guest on the show. And if I'm taking too long to respond to your email because I got so many emails, hit me up on social media because I live on that thing. I'm always on Instagram. I'm always on Facebook. So you can always inbox me, holla at me, and all that good stuff on my social media. And y'all, we got to keep this thing growing. So we got to follow the rules. Y'all know you got to follow the housekeeping rules, which is subscribe, like, and share to my YouTube channel. That's the only way I can get this message out here. I want you all to help me. When I help y'all, y'all are helping me. We are helping each other. Okay. There's healing in these conversations. B just told y'all there's healing in the conversation. So we need to keep having
It
them.
is.
So I appreciate you. We will see you next Wednesday. I may have a part 3. Not too sure just yet. I think I may have a part 3 on this one. I don't know. But if I do, I do. If I don't, I don't. But I do have another guest if I don't have a part 3 to this. So don't worry about it. It's all good. It's going down. It's going down. So you all enjoy your week. You be safe. And I will talk to you all later. Stand by for me for a second, girl. Okay.
Okay.
All right, y'all. Have a good one.